Hello everyone, this is Dana Reynolds with Master Cut Gems. Well, we're beginning to start something that has been probably 17, 18 years in the making. I've been studying and polishing Japanese Nihonto or samurai swords for almost 20 years. Probably about $3,000 worth of books, about $6,000 worth of stones, and Lord knows what else. But what we've done, I've got so many swords. I think I got about 68 of all configurations. Yaris, Naginata, Wakizashi Tanto, Tachi, Katana, the works. And I'm just going to kind of show you, this is pretty much when I was buying, this is the state in which I'm getting them in. And this one's actually in pretty good shape. Very rusted, lots of chips. This is pretty much what you're looking at as far as this one's actually in very good condition compared to a lot of them that I get when they come in from Japan. And I've been dealing with the same one guy for probably about 15 years. And this is the blank of the hard rock maple suka. This is already carved out inside and glued together. Then of course I'll have to make the habaki for it. This is my fittings for it. These are period fittings. A few chips and stuff in here, but I've already dipped it in apple cider vinegar to see what my Haman pattern was. I already checked for hagiri, but I'll check further when I start actually polishing. This is another one. This is just, this is the condition they come in, if not worse. I've even had some that were stuck to the inside of the scabbard. This is what I'm trying to get them like before I hand them off to sale. Suka's been made. Fuchi Kashira's been fitted. Made a seiya out of basswood, correct inside. You can rework. I just put a coat of lacquer on the outside. You can refine it the way you want to shape it. There's meat there. Basically, that's the blade. This is a very old blade. This is probably 1400s. Put a sterling silver collar on it, just, instead of just the basic. I just went ahead and did sterling silver since I am a goldsmith too. So went ahead and did that. This is a condition they'll be sold in, most all of them. You can put your Sammy on it and wrap it. And you can also go and put more fingerstone work on the blade itself. I normally do at least just one pass, and most all of my furniture is period because I collected furniture before I actually started polishing. So I collected Fuchi Kashira, Manuki, and Suba of period, Edo, Shinto, and some even a little older. But that's kind of how I like to have it, to where anybody that is buying one, all they got to do is a little fingerstone work, Hazuya, Jitsuya. They'll bring out more of the Haman, more of the activity, and then they can put their Sammy on it and wrap it whatever color. Wrap it. If I'd have put it blue, they'd want it green. If I'd have put green, they would have wanted black. So I'm like, no. I did all the foundation work. I did the hard work, making the suka, making the seiya, all that stuff. Now I'm handing them off because, I've got like total 60-some blades. I've got my personal favorites. I don't need 60-some blades. I'm tired of keeping them from rusting by wiping them down with choji oil and all that stuff like every 45 50. Get them in a condition. We're going to be listing them now. I'm going to tell you everything I know about it, the period. Like I said, I'm not a purist. As far as polishing, it's just like I look at it with gemstones. I'm a minimalist. I take no more than I have to. Tool and die maker. I've dealt with angles. I've dealt with metallurgy. I've dealt with all these things that encompass the Japanese sword and how it's made, how to keep my lines correct, not take more than I have to, because there's the chips were so bad I could only remove like 90-95% of them, or I run the risk of ruining the blade by going into Shingani or the coarse. So I am a minimalist. I just, I love it. I actually, it's hard work. You sit there, you'll sweat your tail off polishing these stones. And some of them I had to go as far back as 80 grit because they were just so horrible. But most of the time, I'm polishing the stuff that people wouldn't pay the $100 an inch to get them polished. Just who I am. I'm passing these on to the next caretaker, because that's all we are as caretakers, because most all these blades are at least 250, 300 years old. They did their battle. You can tell some of them have got the cuts on the moon. They've got the chips knocked out of them from going against another blade of the hardness, same hardness or more. I've all checked for hagiri. any type of fatal flaws. If anything had fatal flaws, whether it had noboshi in the tip of the kasaki, it had hagiri, or the chips went above the hot and everything, they've already been gotten rid of. I mean, I have sold them dirt cheap. I have sold them as study pieces, all these things, but what I'm wanting to restore is what I would consider a blade that would still be able to do its utilitarian purpose it was designed for, and that's to battle and to cut stuff. Of course, I do a lot of cutting, tamashigiri, and I've done things that most people wouldn't, but it is what it is. I like the sword. I like to cut stuff. So I mean, it's the guy thing in me, I guess. But we were getting ready to put them out. All questions, all you got to do is ask me. I'll tell you everything I know about it. Rochelle will pass it on to me. I am starting now to go and take all my measurements, my soris, my motogane, all these different characteristics of the blade. I'll tell you everything I know, whether it's got kizu, loose grain. You're not going to be able to see the hada and the haman. You can see the activity type, whether it be Saguha, Madare, Ganome, Sanbansuji, or whatever. But the hada you're not going to see until you put the Jitsuya stones to it and to bring up and clarify that steel to pick up the folding pattern of the steel. Now, I have done art polishes on my personal blades, which I have about 10, and there's a few others that I went ahead and did somewhat art polish, but I don't have the time cutting gemstones, looking after the farm, and all these other things I got to do. I basically got them all through foundation polish, where all they actually need is Jitsuya and Hazuya. Most all of them I went ahead and cut in the cosmetic Yokote line, because if they had the actual ground in geometric Yokote line, I put it back. If it didn't have it, I put the cosmetic. That's just how I am. Like I said, I'm a minimalist. I'm not taking and doing things to these blades that wasn't done before. So that's just who I am. If anybody else wants to do it, that's their prerogative. I bought them. I owned them. I treated them like what I consider a good caretaker, and didn't take any more than I absolutely had to. That's who I am. Same way with the gemstone. Can't put it back once you grind it off. So, just giving y'all a brief rundown of what Rochelle and I are doing. You're going to start seeing things on the website in the Japanese Nihonto category of the website. And I've got tons of books and stuff like that, and I'll let them go at probably a fourth of what I paid for them, because I've done read them, done gone through them, done studied them. So I don't need them anymore. But we're just going to be listing a lot of things on the website in the next 30, 60 days, because it's going to take me that long to write down all the details on each one of these swords, because it takes about 45 minutes to write down all the details and do an accurate description of what is before me. So just letting you all know what we're doing, and any questions that you ask, I'll tell you everything I know. That's pretty much it. But I just wanted to give you a brief rundown of how I got started in all this stuff. And that it basically is easier to buy than it is to polish. So I would find myself buying 2, 3, 4 blades at a time, and they started piling up. Then I'm like, my Lord, what am I going to do? I have got so much work ahead of me. It's hard work. Believe me, it ain't easy. It takes a lot of time. And there absolutely is no way I'm going to get my money back for the time that I've spent and materials to get these blades to the condition they are today. So they're deals. Thank you very much for putting up with my talking today. And like I said, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask. Thank you, and have a great day.